I would like to call the December 4th, 2024 council meeting to order. If you are able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sonart.
Here.
Mayor Gabriel.
Here.
Councilmember Castena.
Here.
Councilmember Dothit.
Yes.
Councilmember Askin.
Here.
Vice Mayor Nackstead.
Here.
Councilmember Daniel is absent. And Student Representative Tanner.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Council, before we get to the agenda and consent agenda approval, I would like to bring to your attention the lay down materials. We have add item H7, discussion, scheduling a work session with the Kenaitze memo and draft agenda brought to us by the city manager. Add item K1, city manager's report, Kenai River Special Management Area Advisory Board meeting report brought to us by the city manager. Pleasure of council. Councilmember Askin.
I move we accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, are there any additional revisions to the agenda and consent agenda from council? Seeing none, would the clerk please read the consent agenda items into the record?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Nackstead. Approval of the regular meeting minutes of November 20th, 2024, brought to you by the city clerk. New business action approval, bills to be ratified, brought to you by the administration. Action approval, non-objection to the renewal of a restaurant eating place liquor license for Los Compadres Mexican Restaurant LLC, doing business as Los Compadres Mexican Restaurant. License number 5859, brought to you by the city clerk. Action approval, 90-day extension of special use permit to Cook Inlet Natural Gas Storage, Alaska for vehicle parking, brought to you by the administration. Action approval, special use permit for snow storage for Shillings Alaska Inc., brought to you by the administration. And action approval, special use permit for snow storage for Alaska Sure Seal Inc., brought to you by the administration. And introduction of ordinance number 3445, 2024, decreasing estimated revenues and appropriations in the Kenai City Municipal Roadway Improvement Capital Project Fund to transfer residual balance from completed projects back to their original funding source, and increasing estimated revenues and appropriations in the Kenai City Water and Sewer, Public Safety, and Airport Improvement Capital Funds to fully fund projects approved in the FY 2025 budget, brought to you by the administration. Public hearing scheduled for December 18th, 2024. And that is your consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Was unanimous consent requested?
Request unanimous consent.
Okay, are there any objections to unanimous consent? Actually, I think I missed a. Yep. Hearing no objections, agenda and the consent agenda are approved. But I didn't ask to see if there was anybody from the public that would like to are there any public comments on any of the consent agenda items just read into the clerk, by the clerk?
No.
Sorry for that. Okay, seeing nobody. Oh, could be somebody online too, and the clerk's watching that. We have no scheduled administrative reports. We have no scheduled public comments. That brings us to unscheduled public comments. Are there any members from the public who would like to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Okay, nobody online. So that brings us to public hearings. The first public hearing before us tonight is ordinance number 3444, 2024, accepting and appropriating a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, passed through the State of Alaska Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, to hire a contractor to add a cybersecurity section to the city's emergency operations plan, brought to us by administration. Pleasure of council. Councilmember Askin.
I move we enact ordinance number 3444-2024.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there anybody from the general public that would like to speak to ordinance 3444, 2024? Seeing no one, we'll bring it back to council. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gabriel?
Yes.
Councilmember Casena?
Yes.
Councilmember Dothit?
Yes.
Councilmember Askin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nakstad?
Yes?
Councilmember Sonart?
Yes.
Student Representative Tanner?
Yes.
You have 6 yes votes. Ordinance number 3444-2024 is enacted.
Okay, thank you. We are now on item E2, Resolution 2024-48, approving the use of the Fleet Replacement Fund for the purchase of 3 Ford Police Interceptors utilizing the State of Alaska Equipment Fleet contract brought to us by administration. Pleasure of council.
I move to
Councilmember Sonart.
adopt resolution number 2024-48.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Moved and seconded. Is there anybody from the general public that would like to speak to Resolution 2024-48? Okay, seeing no one, we'll bring it back to council.
Vice Mayor Nakstad,
Yeah, go ahead, Mayor.
I do have a
Gabriel?
question just for clarification of administration. In the memo, it says that there was a plan to schedule to replace 3 police cruisers in FY 2025. Is this something that got moved up, or is this in addition to the 3 there? Maybe a question for Terry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Mayor Gabriel. So these are the 3 vehicles that were planned for replacement in fiscal '25. This is just actually giving authorization to utilize the equipment replacement fund. It's a requirement of code before we can utilize those funds. So this just does 2 things. It's giving the authorization to utilize the fleet replacement fund for this purpose, and it's also authorizing the procurement methodology using the state's fleet procurement contract rather than our own solicitation.
Very good. Thank you. That's what I thought. I just wanted clarification.
Any further questions of council? And was unanimous consent requested?
I request unanimous consent.
I'll second.
Is there any objection to unanimous consent? Seeing none, with no objection, Resolution 2024-48 is adopted. Next, we have item E3, Resolution 2024-49, authorizing the acceptance of 2018 and 2020 Copper River and Prince William Sound Salmon Disaster Relief Funds brought to us by administration. Pleasure of council. Councilmember Askin.
I move we adopt resolution number 2024-49 and ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Thank you. Is there anybody from the general public that would like to speak to Resolution 2024-49? Seeing no one, bring it back to council. Any comments, questions? Unanimous consent was requested. No objections? Seeing none. Hearing no objection, the unanimous consent, Resolution 2024-49 is adopted. So that brings us to item E4, Resolution 2024-50, authorizing the acceptance of 2018 East Side Set Gillnet and 2020 Upper Cook Inlet Salmon Disaster Relief Funds brought to us by administration. Pleasure of council.
I move
Councilmember-
to adopt resolution number 2024-50 and ask for unanimous consent.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there anybody from the general public that would like to speak to Resolution 2024-50? Okay. Seeing no one, we'll bring it back to council. Any,
Vice Mayor Nakstad.
Vice Mayor, or Mayor Gabriel?
Thank you. No question. Just wanted to thank Kenai Peninsula Fishermen's Association. I know they did a lot of the heavy lifting on this, and if you guys recall a resolution that was before us, not to pass that asked us to sponsor a resolution that requested the disaster declaration. And one of those folks was Kenny Coleman, and he member of the board there who passed away last early summer, and I just wanted to, or spring, I guess it was, I just wanted to just say, you know, a lot of his leadership went into this. There'll be other ones coming forward, but just wanted to note the work that he did on this and the benefit to the city of Kenai for his work.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further comments, questions from anyone? Unanimous consent was requested. Are there any objections? Hearing no objections to unanimous consent, Resolution 2024-50 is adopted. Now we have item E5, Resolution 2024-51, adopting an alternative allocation method for the fiscal year 25 Shared Fisheries Business Tax Program and certifying that this allocation method fairly represents the distribution of significant effects of fisheries business activity in Fisheries Management Area 14, Cook Inlet area, brought to us by administration. Pleasure of council.
I move to adopt resolution number 2024-51.
I'll second.
Yeah, moved and seconded. Is there anybody from the general public that would like to speak to Resolution 2024-51? Okay, seeing no one, we'll bring it back to council. Councilmember Sonart.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Nexted. I was wondering if we could get just a summary explanation from Mr. Eubank on this, or possibly Mayor Gabriel. Just explain what this is for people who might be listening or people that are not familiar with this process.
City manager, you want to handle that?
Yeah, I was just going to defer. I think Terry would best be answering this because I'm not exactly sure how the alternative works. I do kind of understand there's two methods here, and I've asked Terry, and he's given me a pretty complete answer for that, and he'll probably do better than I can. Terry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Sonart, through the Vice Mayor. So with the shared fisheries business tax, the state of Alaskan statute has two allocation methodologies that can be employed. The first and probably most cumbersome methodology would require every benefited community, which there are 10 of us for Cook Inlet, would have to complete a lengthy application process and detail out the fiscal impact of commercial fishing on the community. And the alternative to that is that all 10 communities can agree to the alternative allocation method, which initially takes half of the funds available. And this year, there's just over $7,000 available for all 10 communities. It takes 50% of that and divides it evenly amongst each of the communities. And then the remaining 50% is then allocated based upon population. The alternative allocation method has been selected every year since 1992 when that process started, just because of how cumbersome and laborious the full application process is. And as the revenue amount continues to shrink, like I said, this year we're just over $7,000. It really amplifies why we would choose this methodology. So I do expect all other communities to do the same. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but that's what this is about. Each year we have to pass this resolution as a community, selecting for council to authorize that methodology, and that's what's being employed. What the city expects to receive as part of this, out of that $7,000, is $427 for the fiscal.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Was unanimous consent requested?
Unanimous consent is requested.
Thank you. Are there any objections to unanimous consent? Okay, hearing none. Unanimous, Resolution 2024-51 is adopted. So that brings us down to new business, item H7, discussion, scheduling a work session with the Knights Indian Tribe, and we do have a laydown for that, which has some suggested dates and times. City Manager Eubank, did you have anything you wanted to fill us in on those dates, or if any other time would work?
Yeah, thank you, Vice Mayor, members of council. I just wanted to provide you, to kind of facilitate this, since we're dealing with two bodies and a lot of people. The administration, I proposed some times with folks at Kenaitze that they're bringing forward to their council. The times that were proposed are Wednesday, January 15th, 4 p.m., which would be before our council meeting on that date, or the following day, Thursday at 6 p.m., or Friday at 6 p.m. of that week. And I'm expecting to hear back from the tribe before our meeting, our next council meeting, at which point we'll have something on a request on the agenda to formally schedule that time by this body. So a little presumptuous on my behalf, giving those dates. I'm just trying to facilitate moving the meeting forward. I also wanted to just let council know that I am proposing this year that, since it is the city's turn to host this work session, we were their guests last year, they'll be our guests this year. I do want to have the work session at at the Visitor and Cultural Center. I think it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase some of the work that the chamber staff have been doing on freshening up the display there in the Cultural Center, and also give them an opportunity to talk about their plans over the next year, which I believe what they're planning to do is have monthly themed presentations. They'll be bringing different materials out of the collection onto display, and those themes can be from different time periods in Kenai's history. They're having lecturers from the college and other sources come in and speak about those different themes. So it's pretty exciting, I think, what the chamber's doing. I wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of showcase that. The grand reopening for the Cultural Center, it's closed right now for the work they're doing, is scheduled for January 15th, but this would give you, our council, and the Kenaitze Tribal Council the opportunity to get a firsthand tour of it and see what not only the chamber staff that we're helping support, but the Kenaitze staff that are working on this, what they're doing, and thought that would be really interesting. So that is the plan. I did then also attach a draft agenda that I provided to the tribe, and these are just some things that came to my mind. If there's other things that council would like us to include on that agenda, we're happy to add those. And we can certainly do that at the next meeting. I think at the next meeting, council will be asked to officially set the date and approve the agenda. And then I've also asked for the tribe to include any discussion points that they'd like to have. So I expect to hear back from them prior to the meeting on the 18th. And just wanted to provide an update to council on where that's at.
Okay, thank you for that. This is something that I look forward to every year personally, and there are a number of things to talk about. So, I think it's going to take a couple of hours at least anyway, and then we got to travel back to here. So, I mean, if these times I would suggest the Thursday
I was
meeting
going to
off the
say
top of my
Thursday for
head.
me would be the best.
Say again?
I would suggest the Thursday also would be the best. If I had a choice, Thursday would be the best for me, because I'd be worried about travel time if we started talking, and next thing you know, it's 4:45 or 4:45, we got to run out of there real quick. That'd be my only thing about Wednesday. And then Fridays are always difficult, especially we might be trying to leave town or something that Friday, who knows?
Anybody have any objections to Thursday at 6? Mayor Gabriel, does that work for you?
As of right now, yes. I have something scheduled at the beginning or middle of January. I just don't know when it's going to be yet. So, but I think that would be good for me right now. That's the best I can do.
Okay, well, I guess I'm understanding we can pencil in January 16th at 6 o'clock.
And Vice Mayor, just to clarify, I will contact the tribe and let them know that that's our preference, but I'm kind of waiting on them to see what fits in their schedule as well, too. So if something else comes back, we'll discuss that at the 18th. But I will let them know that that's our preference out of those three.
Okay. And from what I understand, if we were to do it Wednesday, perhaps at a little earlier time too. I think we need more time than an hour and 40 minutes. Okay, so that brings us down to commissioner reports. I have Council on Aging, and they meet next Thursday at 3 o'clock. The Airport Commission, Council Member Daniel is not here, but I know their meeting for the Airport Commission is also here next Thursday at 6 o'clock. And I think they're going to be discussing the Airport Master Plan, is my understanding. So that gets us to Harbor Commission, Commissioner Casena.
The Harbor Commission.
Councilor Casena, sorry.
Yeah. Harbor Commission hasn't met since our last meeting, so the update I provided then is the same today.
Thank you. And Parks and Rec Commission, Councilmember Dothett.
Their meeting was scheduled for tomorrow and is now not happening, so I have nothing new to report.
Okay, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you. Their second meeting in November was canceled, and their next meeting is Wednesday, December 11th.
Okay. And lastly, we have Beautification Commission.
Thank you. Beautification Commission met last night, and we did a tour of all the lights that the city's put up. They did a really nice job, and the next meeting is January 14th.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So that brings us to item J, Mayor, report of the mayor, Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Naxted. And I just want to say I look forward to, first of all, I want to thank you for the work you've done filling in for me. I'm anxious to get home and look forward to seeing you all personally in the near future. Thank you all.
Thank you. Hope you haven't forgotten how to do this. Okay, so that brings us down to administrative reports. City Manager Eubank.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, or Vice Mayor, members of council. Just a few items to report. One is the city's first public land sale will be taking place this Saturday, the first in many years, certainly not our first overall. Available on the city's website or here at City Hall. There are some flyers if anybody's interested, and there's also a pamphlet that's been put together with a lot of information regarding that land sale. So looking forward to see what the results are this Saturday. Hope, last I knew, talking with the auction company, there were over 30 people that had initiated the registration process to become bidders. Now, those are all people that either are planning to bid online or they could show up here Saturday as well, but presumably the majority of those will be online, and then they'll be enrolling people or getting people signed up Saturday morning prior to the auction starting. So we'll be right here. I believe doors open to potential buyers at 9, and the auction is scheduled to start about 10. So if you're bored, want to see some excitement, I hope it's an exciting event. So we do have, administration does have a meeting scheduled next week with Alaska Airlines and their network folks to start talking about activities here at the Kenai Airport and potentially their interest. And so we're looking forward to having those discussions, starting those discussions, and hopefully be able to provide you some updates in the future. Couple things, the chamber and the Christmas Comes to Kenai, I think, was a huge success, and I just want to compliment them on the work that they did. And Sam's not here tonight, but just an amazing job. They estimate they had about 1,200 folks come through the visitor center Friday for Christmas Comes to Kenai events. Seeing Santa, there was reindeer there, and everything else that went with that. And I will say that Sam was also very complimentary of city staff. and our street department, things that they work with, and the fire department, the police department in organizing the parade and everything. And it's always very nice to hear. It honestly is what's expected, but our departments do a great job, and I really appreciate their working with the chamber on that. Council knows that the public safety building programming RFP has been released, is on the street, and the responses are due by January 14th. So just want to let you know that that's out there. And just wanted to highlight one last thing. The annual PU fishery report is included in your packet, if you didn't see it in there, but I just wanted to point out that it is in there. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the city manager? Councilmember Doffett.
Did have the I Love Kenai program. Are we going to have any kind of a report from that coming up anytime soon on what the status is and how they're doing with that?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Dothett, through the Vice Mayor. Yes, we are working with the marketer for them to schedule a presentation to council on what their activities are and what their plans are. So I will try to get that date firmed up for you and let you know.
Thank you.
Any further questions for the city manager? That brings us to the city attorney, Bloom. He is not here this evening, but I can assure you that he didn't have a report. But if you have any questions, ask them after 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. He'll be at his desk. So that brings us to the city clerk.
Thank you,
Senior.
Vice Mayor Nexter. Just to let you know that our mobile food vendor license run from January 1st to December 31st. So our Deputy Clerk Thibodeau is issuing the renewal notices at this time, although most of those people won't renew until summer because that's when they operate. But that's what we've been up to in our office, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions of the clerk? That brings us to item L, additional public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the council on this time on any topic at all? Okay, nobody online? Okay, that brings us to council comments and questions. Mayor Gabriel, would you like to say anything?
No, just again, wanted to reiterate the work that you guys have done. I appreciate. The other thing is, it was in our lay down here, I believe it's lay down, where I appreciate that our Parks and Rec director had Tyler Best has taken over as our rep to the Kenai River Special Management area. So I do appreciate his report in the lay down and looking forward to future reports there. So thanks to him for stepping into that role.
Thank you. Councilmember Dothett.
Just helped out, got roped into helping out a lot more than I thought I was going to with the Kenai, Christmas Comes to Kenai. Sam is very persuasive when you set foot in that building and won't let you leave sometimes, but they did an amazing job. It's amazing how much work and time and effort they put into decorating that building. If you haven't got a chance to, at one of these events, to go over there and see them, I highly recommend going over there and see them. They really put all their effort and above and beyond for what they do over there for these events. They've really amazing amount of decorations and live reindeer this year inside the building. They had inflatables and they had the Grinch, which was, just an amazing Grinch costume, heckling kids in line. There was times that they'd have to sit there for almost an hour to see Santa because there were so many people. They were giving out free pictures. It was free toys, free cookies and hot chocolate when they were there. I mean, it was amazing how many people they pumped through there, and it was a really cool event. And then, of course, if you didn't get a chance to see the parade, I think it was one of the longer, if not longest, electric lights parade I've seen in a long time. We participated in it, got convinced at the last minute I had to do it, so we did the float again this year, and there's a lot of really great floats and a lot of participation. Even though it was cold, there was still a ton of participation, which was really nice to see. Always nice to see the smiling face out there. Had a great fireworks display and good bonfire, and it went really well. So I was glad to see a bunch of smiling faces out there, and I think it's a great opportunity for Kenai to show up in force and enjoy the holidays and kick it off. And that's about all I've got.
Thank you. Student Representative Tanner.
Bit of a shorter report today. For Kenai Alternative High School, I am not aware of any major events that will be happening until the end of winter break. For Connections Homeschool, on December the 11th, their Ready Set Connect pre-K program is beginning. Their first meeting is December the 11th. On December the 12th, they'll be hosting a family Christmas skating event and craft day. And on the 16th, there will be a youth Christmas music program at Heritage Place. For Kenai Central High School, from the 6th to the 7th of December is a wrestling tournament at Grace Christian High School in Anchorage. There are also hockey tournaments held at KCHS on December the 7th and 17th. December the 10th is a choir concert at the KCHS Auditorium. December 12th is a band concert at the KCHS Auditorium. December 13th through 14th is a wrestling regionals at Seward and Colony Chaos skiing tournament at Government Peak. December 16th through 20th is Christmas Spirit Week, and December the 18th is a drive-in movie night.
Okay, thank you for the report. Councilmember Sonart.
Thank you. I too enjoyed Christmas Comes to Kenai, and usually when it's that cold, usually it's the length of the parade is relative to how cold it is. You know, the colder it is, shorter it is. But it was really cool to see a nice long parade, and even though it was, depending on what your temperature said, either 0 or 1, I stood out on the corner and waved at everybody. I was not in my warm car. But it was a great time, and I wanted to let everybody know that the Kenai Peninsula Orchestra is getting together this year for a Christmas concert, and the Christmas concert in Kenai will be held on Saturday, December 14th at Kenai Central Auditorium at 3 p.m. I think tickets are $15. I never have to buy one because I'm playing, but I think tickets are $15. But I do know that students 17 and under get in for free. So if you have a family, you want to bring your kids to a really cool Christmas concert, kids are free. We're doing the concert in Kenai, and then we're replicating the concert the next afternoon in Homer. So it's musicians from all over the peninsula, and it's a Kenai community choir, and then when we go to Homer, it'll be a Homer community choir. So it'll be choir and orchestra. Community members. Thank you.
Well, cool. Thank you. Councilmember Askin.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I participated in the Thanksgiving luncheon with the Senior Center this year. Over 250 meals were served, so it was a huge success. I also went to the Christmas Comes to Kenai parade and stood out there with my grandson and collected candy for him, with him. And the fireworks were great. He went to the chamber and he went with the intention of wanting to see Santa, but the reindeer got his attention, so he never did go see Santa. He had to go see the reindeer. And I'm looking forward to AML next week. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Casena.
Starting to think I need to go first with as few updates as I have. But I was out of town for Thanksgiving, so it was the first year I've missed Christmas Comes to Kenai, and it was a bummer. It was a bummer to not see it for the first time. But other than that, nothing exciting that I participated in.
Okay, well, good enough. I just have a couple of things. I wanted to shout out to Parks and just driving through town, and it's dark a lot now, is all the lights that we have in our city. And matter of fact, I'm looking at a fish through the window up there. I don't know if you can all see that. I mean, it makes me happy, and it makes, I think, everybody else happy too. It's just joyful and all of that, just driving through town and seeing that. And also the flags as they come and they go too. It's appreciated. But I really do like the lights, and it's well done. Especially those over by Louis or by the senior center in that direction. They're very, very nice. I want to thank the administration too for putting on the work session tonight. I think that's a valuable process in what we do, and hopefully that'll continue to move on through just perfectly well. I went to the Kenai Craft Fair, as a lot of other people did this weekend at the high school, and over at, there was one separate one over at the old mall. Lots of people attended. When I talked to some of the vendors, they brought it up that they felt that it's now gone past COVID enough where people are spending money it's kind of like what it used to be more. And that seemed to be consensus from them. So hopefully that'll pick up with all of our other stores and vendors and all that, we kind of more than turned a corner, but we're moving ahead on that. And I'll be seeing you 10 o'clock, city manager. I assume you're going to be here at 10 o'clock at City Hall this Saturday for the auction. And I look forward to it. And I'm not bored, but I'm really interested. So we have no executive session, no pending items, so that brings us to adjournment. And with no further